Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to everybody. I shall be talking about the prospects and the challenges for the joint justice system uh, for the whole of the Muslim world. But before I do that, I would like to just give me 1 second. Yeah, I would like to, first of all, congratulate ASSAM and its chairman, General Adnan Tanriverdi, for organizing this Congress in extremely difficult time. I also pray for the good health and very quick and complete recovery of General Adnan Pasha. Uh, Before I come to the actual topic, I would like to express my deep, heartfelt condolence uh, for more than 21,000 Palestinian martyrs who have lost their lives under naked and most brutal crimes against humanity and genocide committed and perpetrated by Israeli state and the Israeli forces. I also pray for more than 60,000 injured Palestinians and around 2 million Palestinians whose houses, hospitals, schools have been destroyed. And we all know there is no water, no food, no medicine, no shelter. Whereas we need to condemn Israel for these heinous atrocities, we must also condemn the United States and the EU, who, as supporters of the Israel, have facilitated and allowed this massacre and genocide by providing diplomatic, political, military, and financial support to Israel. Undoubtedly, all such acts constitute crimes against humanity. I also would like to highlight the similar atrocities perpetrated by Indian occupying forces in Kashmir against Muslims, and of course, in other areas in the world as well. I wish to highlight the inability, with great pain, of the Muslims to stop Israel to commit such crimes and their powerlessness and the failure to provide any meaningful humanitarian assistance to their Palestinian brothers and sisters. What a pity that there are many Muslim countries just adjacent to Israel and Palestine, but they are unable to react. They are unable to give any kind of support to their Muslim brethren. Therefore, it is extremely important to understand the reasons of such helplessness, vulnerability, and extreme weakness. We have been discussing all related issues in the previous Assam Congress. I am lucky enough to be participating, I think, in fourth or fifth consecutive conference. I'm sure you all know and understand the real causes of such a pitiful and unfortunate situation. In simple words, it is lack of unity and solidarity among Muslims. This is the main concern of Assam and its endeavors for last many years. I can assure you that if the Muslims were united and if they had strong political and diplomatic cooperation amongst themselves, Israel would have not dared to attack Gaza. Rather, Palestine would have been an independent country by now. Therefore, I request all participants to fully support Assam in its efforts to establish unity and solidarity amongst Muslims. We have all the resources, large population, enormous land and sea waterways, strategic trade routes, natural resources, large, rather very large armies, and 57 members of the United Nations. What we lack is a collective political vision, and of course, the resultant lack of unity and solidarity. Now I'll move to the prospects of and the challenges of the joint system in the contemporary joint justice system in the contemporary Muslim world. Justice, as it has been explained by many speakers and scholars, is ethical, philosophical, moral, religious, social, and political concept, which advocates that all people must be treated impartially, fairly, and equally, without prejudice to their color, creed, ethnicity, and nationality. Indeed, justice forms the foundation of a civilized, cultured, enlightened, progressive, and egalitarian society. Though a good justice system demands that everyone should be treated equally, but practical application of justice varies among various societies and states depending upon their history, culture, custom, norms, traditions, political systems, governance structure, and constitutional provision. A fair justice system also ensures that no harm is caused to anyone and no one is persecuted or prosecuted without following due process of fairness and impartiality. Traditionally, a justice system has two main branches, the civil law and the criminal law. Most of the Muslim countries which have remained under the colonial power of many European powers still follow some forms of Roman common law or mixture of the laws introduced by their erstwhile colonial masters. Only nominal changes have been made by these countries after their independence. This aspect has been highlighted by a number of speakers, those who spoke yesterday and today as well. The justice system in Muslim countries varies drastically from one state to another state for the reasons mentioned just now in the form, principles, standards, practices, and essence due to the influence of various factors. I do not have the time to go into those in the detail. Conceptually speaking, the Islamic concept of justice as derived from Quran and Sunnah, the practices of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and the judicial tradition of rightly guided caliphs, the Khulafa Rashideen, is a comprehensive system. It promotes socio-economic justice for all citizens of the state and protects their fundamental rights. I want to highlight and emphasize the word. It promotes the socio-economic justice because many a time we are talking into very technical terms and into some kind of more and more of a religious terminologies, but we do not emphasize on a socio-economic justice. In a society where socio-economic justice does not exist, the society cannot exist. And where the fundamental rights of the citizens are not protected, whether it is called a Muslim country or a Muslim society or a non-Muslim society, it just cannot stay, it cannot survive. Unfortunately, in most of the Muslim societies, in most of the Muslim states, neither there is a social economic justice, nor there is any respect for the fundamental rights of their citizens. The principles of the Islamic law and justice system based on Quran and Sunnah are universally accepted by all Muslims. There are some differences among various schools of Islamic jurisprudence, but these are not divisive. During 18th and the 20th century, up to from 18th to 20th century, the colonial powers enforced their laws and justice system on their subjects because they wanted to destroy the old traditional Islamic justice system in whatever form it was. Moreover, it helped them to establish supremacy of the colonial imperialists on the Muslims. The colonial powers wanted unhindered loot and plunder of the human and natural resources of the Muslim world. During the post-colonial era, nothing much has been done to restore and revive the traditional Islamic justice system due to the factors mentioned by me. Lack of freedom of thought, research, and speech in the Muslim world has resulted in a stagnation of intellectual and academic evolution, of the rule of law and Islamic judicial system to correspond to the changing demands and challenges of contemporary world. Due to these factors, it is not an easy task to evolve a uniform and commonly accepted Islamic law and Islamic justice system that can be applied to and it can be practiced by all Muslim states. However, the process must be started to attain common understanding and mutual acceptance, at least of some minimum standards and procedures that can pave the way for a universally agreed Islamic legal system. Therefore, there's a need to establish an independent commission on Islamic legal and justice system. It would work in cooperation, or it should work in cooperation with the Islamic Court of Justice, which hardly exists or nominally exists. It doesn't function at all. It has no role of providing the guidance on the Islamic justice system to all Muslim societies and countries. It can be, the cooperation can be obtained from Jama Azhar, the Azhar University, and the International Islamic Universities at Islamabad and Kuala Lumpur. The commission should comprise of 10 to 15 renowned Muslim law experts, ulamas, those who are experts of the Islamic philosophy and theology, Muslim jurists, and some former chief justices of the Supreme Courts of the Muslim countries. All schools of Islamic thought must get due representation in this commission. Later, some subcommittees can also be formed to work out the details for the specific laws and the procedures. Ladies and gentlemen, as I have highlighted and other speakers have spoken, establishing a common and a joint Islamic justice system that is acceptable to and it is implemented by all Muslim countries is surely desirable. Yet it is an overly ambitious goal. But a beginning must be made. The most important prerequisite for such objective is unity, solidarity, and political consensus. It is the political unity which will actually give way to many other things, whether we are talking of a defense, or we are talking of diplomacy, or we are talking of justice system, or we are talking of a common economic system. So there has to be a political consensus among Muslims, for which Assam has made concerted effort for last many years. So I would like once again at the end to appreciate the efforts of Assam, and I pray that these efforts, they bring desirable results. Before I end, once again, I pray for our Palestinian brothers and sisters. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.